Hi, and welcome to the SuccessPaTh show, where Christian business owners share their tips for success to show you how to succeed more effectively with your kingdom goals. I'm your host, Violet Dietrich, and I have a wonderful guest today. Her name is Katie Marie Hughes. And Katie Marie, her life is one of relentless passion and pursuit. Her career started early, becoming a professional dancer at just 17 years old. She's performed with several dance companies in the US and abroad. At the age of 22, Katie Marie and her brother formed a nationally distributed Christian pop group, which is called 316. Together, they wrote and produced 3 albums and toured extensively around the country. Katie Marie has had many media appearances, has been on countless live venues, and has shared the stages with some of the top names in Christian music. As a singer, songwriter, musician, dancer, author, worship pastor, speaker, entrepreneur, business owner, and investor, that's a mouthful, Katie Marie lives to inspire others to reach their greatest potential. And in 2015, Katie Marie met and married the love of her life, David. She and David currently are the founders of Love Co. and Simplified Investing and reside in Southwest Florida. Well, welcome, Katie Marie. I actually lived in Naples, so I'm kind of familiar with Southwest Florida and a little bit jealous, but welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me and just allowing me to share a slice of the massive stuff that God has done in my life. And He absolutely gets all the glory for all of it. And the majority of those lists of things behind my name, I actually never had any thought or desire to ever do them. And it was just all God and, following, holding on as tightly as I could to His hand and, just Him leading me down a crazy, wild, adventurous path.
Crazy wild adventure, but now you and your husband are doing amazing in business. Can you tell us a little bit about what's happened the last few months?
Yes, absolutely. And before I do so, I actually would love to bring on another special guest.
Ooh,
So,
okay. Let's
this
do
is
that.
my incredible, just beyond dreams man, David. Come on over here. I want him to sit with me, and you can plug that in.
Oh, we get a co-host. Hey,
It's
David.
David.
The
I mean,
color
you've
color
already
commentator. Color
heard
commentator.
so much about him. We might as well bring him on because what I'm going to be talking about is an endeavor that we've actually taken on together. And, it's such a beautiful thing what God did bringing us together in such a miraculous way. If we have time, we can share it. Because the thing is, we love to do life together. We love to do business together. We do everything together. And so it's just such a gift because he's my very best friend and the love of my life. And it's just a blast to be able to, live life together, but to also really help people, help set them financially free. And so, yes, the massive success that we've experienced has been nothing short of miraculous.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of out of the blue, about a year and a half ago, we launched an online coaching business for real estate investing. And, you may hear about our success and think, oh my goodness, there's no way I could ever do that. I wouldn't even know where to start. The thing is, we literally jumped in. So that's one success tip right off the bat for you is simply do the thing that God is calling you to do.
Mm-hmm.
And when the doors open, ask Him if the doors are of Him and then actually walk through them. Because, there are so many stories in the Bible where it was, if you do this, then God said, then I will do that. And so Moses, knew that God was going to part the waters, or he trusted that God was going to part the waters. But, there were the Egyptian armies breathing down their necks. But the first thing that he actually had to do was to step into the water. So it's not like God just parts our waters and opens all of these amazing doors and His voice booms out of heaven. This is me. You need to do this. It's just enough light for the step that we're on. And as we take that baby step by baby step, then we find ourselves in the miraculous waters of success. So long story short, we launched our digital coaching business about a year and a half ago. And we started doing these free 5-day online challenges, the two of us. Sometimes we do challenges, just the two of us. Sometimes we bring amazing affiliates in as well. And so just in the last 10 months, we have done 3 5-day challenges. So in less than 3 weeks, we've actually been able to generate $730,000 worth of revenue.
Hallelujah.
So
Praise
go God.
God. Yes.
Absolutely incredible. And, our passion is to help bring people along that path of success. And it's not even necessarily about real estate as the end game. Real estate is a powerful, powerful vehicle and tool to help set us free financially, each and every one of us, to actually pursue the dreams, passions, and gifts that God has given us, because we each have a unique calling, a unique passion. And if we're not currently walking that out, a lot of times it's actually because of financial reasons. We have to put food on the table, we have different financial obligations. And so, many of you watching today have a burning passion. Every single one of you have a passion and a purpose God put inside of you. And it may feel like it's stagnant, or it may feel like, I don't even know where to start and I don't feel fulfilled in my current career. That's where we're so passionate to help bring the components, the simple 5-step process that we've used to become financially independent through real estate. But it wasn't always that way in my life. And so I'll just kind of go back to the beginning. I actually grew up on the west side of Michigan, right near Lake Michigan. And I'm the youngest of 3 children. I have 2 older brothers and I'm the baby girl.
Oh.
And one of the greatest gifts that God ever gave me was the understanding and knowledge that my parents had wanted me. And so they had 2 sons. They were so, so happy. But my oldest brother, Bill, he's actually a junior, William Jr. We call him Billy, even though he doesn't always love it. He was 7 at the time, and he just wanted a baby sister. And so he'd say, Mama, can I please have a baby sister? And so, they tried one time. And at that point, you couldn't find out the gender of the child, maybe unless there was some kind of major issue that you needed to find that out. And so when I was born, I came into this knowledge and understanding that I was wanted, I was asked for.
Oh.
And, that may not be your story, but the thing is, you were asked for by God. And there is no coincidence that you are here today, that you are exactly who you are with all of your intricacies. You're intricate outside, you're intimate inside. And so God has plans and purposes for your life. And no matter what your story is, you were asked for by God, and He knew your name before the foundations of the earth. And so, I came into this amazing family, 2 teachers. Both my parents were elementary school teachers, and I just grew up having such an amazing life. We traveled in the summers, all summer together, all around the country in our motorhome, and it was so much fun. And my parents really chose to be savers, which was a huge blessing. And we were taught early on, to have savings accounts. One of the greatest things my dad ever taught me was how to build incredible credit. And so before even the age of 18, I already had established credit. And so coming into marriage, I actually had absolutely 0 debt. I had, probably about $50,000 worth of savings and investments, and almost a $20,000 car that was paid off, and incredible credit. So that was wonderful. But the thing is, my parents had always been interested in real estate, but one of them kind of wanted to jump in and buy different properties, and the other one was a little bit leery and hesitant. And so they did make some investments, but it was really basically living off of fixed teacher incomes, which any of you who were raised by teachers or are teachers, that the pay is not exceptional, even though I believe that it should be, because you guys are raising literally the generation of tomorrow. But, my whole life, as you heard in my biography, I grew up and became a professional dancer very young in life. And I've always been a performer. I've always just had a desire to awaken what's deep inside of people's hearts through art and creativity. And, so I was an entrepreneur really from the beginning. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, God gave my brother and me the group 316, and we started traveling nationally. So we were definitely entrepreneurs living off of love offerings and honorariums and merchandise sales and all of that. But the thing is, there was no financial freedom. If I didn't work, if I didn't perform, if I wasn't writing new songs and collaborating with new people or waiting tables to supplement, then there just wasn't any income. I definitely, still receive royalties from songs that I'm currently writing, different digital royalties and that kind of thing. We just got to check the other day, which is a blessing, but it's definitely not enough to provide for, a family of two. So I always wanted to invest in real estate. I was so intrigued by it. And when all of the DIY and HGTV shows came out, my middle brother, the one 4 years older than me, and I were all in. We were always watching the shows, thought it was so amazing, but we just didn't know how to invest in real estate. And so, David popped up on my radar in a massive way through a friend, but we weren't talking or anything. He was actually dating someone at the time, but I would see him post on Facebook these cute little houses in Kentucky. And I was actually living about 20 minutes away at the time. And he would post these homes for rent. And I didn't know much at all about him. And I was thinking, that is amazing. Does he own these homes? What is the whole story there? And then, of course, God absolutely collided us together. And the fifth night on the phone of us actually talking, we committed our lives to each other. And then the first time we actually got to meet in person, 40 minutes later, I turned around and he's down on one knee with a beautiful ring, asked me to marry him. And of course I said yes. And 19 days later, we were married. So
whoa. What do you mean, of course, though?
Well, it's such a long, miraculous story. We had known about each other for a year before. And when my friend had actually told me about him, it just really shook my spirit, that I believed that this was the man that God had for me. And I had waited my whole life. I hadn't even dated anyone, not a single date in 7 years, because I just decided that I was done trying to pick the right one for me. I knew that God fashioned me and he fashioned one man for me. And so it was impossible for me to be able to find him. I had to leave it up to God. And so, people sometimes say, well, what was the rush of you guys getting married so fast? And we literally laugh and say, there was no rush. That's why we literally waited our entire lives for each other. And, just the way God wanted to do it, there was no way. We were two magnets that were even trying to stay apart. And it was just smack bam. And, we hit the ground running from before we even got married to when we got married. And we've never stopped. We've just continued running hand in hand together after all that God has for us.
And this is a good example, because you're right next to each other even now.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just such a blast. As a side note, I just encourage you, if you're waiting on that dream spouse that you really believe the Lord has for you, it's not about waiting. It's about pursuing what it is that God has for you with a single focus, keeping your eyes constantly on him and really focusing on your relationship with him and the intimacy that only he can provide, and just that divine romancing. And then when you least expect it, look to your side and see who it is that's running the same pace as you. Literally running in the same direction, running with the same tenacity and drive. And that's, to me, what what truly is an equal yoke, because there's so much unequal yoking, and so many women are trying to drag their husbands to church, or husbands are trying to drag their wives to church, or to drag them to pray with them, and all of these different things. And the thing is, it's important for you to be spiritually compatible, absolutely first and foremost. The number one thing that drew me to his heart was just his absolute relentless passion for Jesus. And his name, David, he was named after King David. His name means beloved of God. And he has a heart after God's own heart. And that truly is who David is. And that's the number one most attractive feature that I could ever love about him, is his relentless pursuit of the Lord, but also just his desire to come under me and to serve me and to love me to life. And together we're able to run and pursue all God has for us.
Wow, that's amazing. So how did the coaching side of the business start?
Yeah, so, when I met David, he was already a tremendously successful real estate investor. He was completely financially independent for several years, and he had started investing back in 2008 and 9. And, he'll be able to share his story another time with you. But I walked right into this incredible portfolio of properties. And so, we got some properties, the two of us together. And people just kind of out of the blue for many years had seen David's success and had just really wanted him to help them. I mean, who wouldn't? Here's this, young, successful entrepreneur who's basically like basking in the sun on his back deck when everybody else is working. He's enjoying life. And so everybody wanted to know what he was doing. So he would help, some different friends and family just out of the kindness of his heart. And then really when we came down here to Florida, people just kind of started coming out of the woodwork looking for coaching. So, there was some private coaching, also like an inner circle where he did some phone conferencing with them. And then all of a sudden it was on our hearts for him to do a webinar. And so he did that, and someone was actually watching the webinar and saw, the brilliance of this simple 5-step process with simplified investing, and reached out and said, what you really need to do are these powerful free 5-day challenges. And so, this great guy, just out of the kindness of his heart, really kind of laid out the steps that we needed to take. And so just like I was sharing in that first success principle, we knew that this was something that God wanted us to do. We knew that we had something special, and we had something to say and something to bring to people to help, launch them into their dreams. And so we thought, why not? Like, we don't know everything about it. And in fact, if we wait until everything is right, then it's never going to happen. If we wait for the perfect season and the perfect soil and the perfect all this and that, we're never going to plant and we're never going to reap a harvest. And so we just jumped in with both feet and did a challenge, the two of us, with this rough roadmap, and God just showed up and showed off, and it was so powerful. So through the 5-day challenge, we literally pour out our 5 steps to become, a real estate investor and help promote that financial freedom. And then at the end of those 5 days, we give them an opportunity to move into our private 12-month group coaching. And so we have the most incredible simplified investing private group coaching family. And when I say family, like, we are legit a family. It's so incredible. Just the connections, the encouragement, the community is nothing short of miraculous. And so it's really fun every time we do these challenges. Then we have a whole influx of more students who come into our 12-month group coaching program. And we also do, more recently, we offer a 6-month group coaching program as well. And so they're in the group. And it's just such a blast. We go live twice a week and just pour all the value into them. We do, everything is private. And so it's only our students. We do question and answer time digitally. And so they've got up to 2 hours for us to answer their one-on-one questions. And then we also do what we call 30-minute hot seats, where if they qualify for a hot seat, we literally take 30 minutes and we'll analyze deals with them. We'll answer a series of questions. And so it's like they're getting private one-on-one coaching. But the beauty of it is it's at a fraction of the investment compared to actual one-on-one private coaching. And then the whole community gets to watch as well and learn from each other. It's just really beautiful.
Wow, that's awesome. So you have great support and great training. And so what do you say to people if they're looking at your life and they say, wow, Katie Marie is like, how can I ever be her? Of course, things are, happening for her. She has a great supportive husband. She was a very successful musician. What do you tell people who feel like, hey, I've failed, I can't do this? People that are doubting themselves, how can you encourage them?
Yes. Well, I have had such a journey, and we weren't meant to live at the mountaintop. I've heard that's why there's very little oxygen up there, because we're only meant to come up and be there for a short period of time. It's really in the valleys where that rich, dense oxygen is, where the moisture is for things to grow. And so I've had a series of peaks and valleys in my life, mountaintop experiences and low experiences. I actually, back in 2011 and 2012, my adrenal glands had basically just given out as a result of just a ravaging anorexic eating disorder. And it was something that I had kind of struggled with since I was a teenager. And so I had gotten so bad that my body had shut down. And, your adrenal glands are very, very, very important, and they help regulate basically the rest of the body. And I had gotten to a point where everything was so messed up in my body that I didn't want to live anymore. And I really had considered taking my own life, and just really suffered from massive depression because all the chemicals, everything was completely off in my life. And I had actually in the past not really understood what depression was, because I'm naturally a very cheerful, like joyful, just love life kind of person. And here I found myself not able to get up off the floor or the couch for 4 days at a time, laying in a bathrobe, like stereotypical, couldn't even get myself into the shower. So, the biggest thing that got me from that absolute pit of basically almost pure destruction, I mean, it doesn't get any worse than wanting to end your life, to where I am now, was literally relying on the Lord and keeping my eyes on him and not on my circumstance. And so what I want you to hear from my story is that you can do this too, because God is no respecter of persons. It's simply following, trusting, obeying radically, even when it doesn't make sense. Because, it didn't make sense for me to get out of bed. I felt like I didn't have anything to live for. The enemy of my soul was constantly actually using my past successes to show me that my future was bleak. Everything that God did, it's over. He's not going to use you anymore in the future. And my greatest desire is to inspire you. That's what I want. I want you to come alive deep within your bones and become exactly who God wants you to be. And so he used that lie of, look at where you were. You were in these amazing mountaintop experiences. Well, that's it. You're never going to experience anything in the future. And now I look back at it and I just laugh at him, because I'm like, I'm impacting more people now and really helping set people free to pursue their dreams than ever before. And so just understand that it's all about him. And if you have him, then you have everything. And so you may not have your health right now. You may not have, a strong, healthy marriage. You may have a broken relationship with your children. But the thing is, God is close to the brokenhearted, and every single tear that you shed, it doesn't fall to the ground. He literally bottles your tears. And those of you who, have sown in tears, like, you'll reap joy and dancing. It's like it's 100% return on investment every single time. And so just understand that the season that you're in right now isn't the season that God is going to bring you into. So like the winter season, if you're finding yourself just in a dreary winter season, just realize that God is actually using that to create a beautiful, fertile soil for springtime harvest and summer lushness to come through for you. So, you can't look at basically the highlight reels of people's lives and compare it to your everyday, which is something that social media has really done a disservice to our world. Because we see, all of the digitized, all the photoshopped, let's bring the waist in, let's bring the thigh gap even bigger, things like that. Let's airbrush the face and all of the little things versus us first thing in the morning. Well, nobody looks like that first thing in the morning. And in fact, none of them look like that actually after the photo shoot. It's only when you really mess with
I love that. Picture. Yeah, you're right, Katie. So don't get so mesmerized by the highlight reel, because there's a lot more behind the scenes. And we only have a few minutes left, so I want to make sure that people are able to get a hold of you. And you have a freebie link that we're going to provide for the audience.
Yes, so we have an incredible free community. It's all kingdom minded, and it's so powerful. So if you go to kingdomwealth.thrurealestate.com, you can actually register for our private free Facebook community. We have a couple thousand people in there, and it's an incredible community, just the people that you get to network. And then of course we are in there as well, providing content and just tips and tricks for you on your real estate investing journey. So we would absolutely love for you to join our community.
Yeah, community is so important. And how can people reach you or find you? What are your social media handles so they can follow you?
Yeah. So my Instagram handle is Life with Katie Marie, just the word life with Katie Marie. And I actually share a lot about minimalism and plant-based living, and basically just my life. And also, if you're interested in any of my music, you can go to katiemariemusic.com as well. And then our actually digital coaching company, Simplified Investing, you can find at simplifiedinvesting.net. And also our personal growth and development company is Loveco, as you mentioned, Violet, and that's found at loveco.live. Live.
All right. So, but mainly you want to send them to kingdomwealth.thrurealestate.com, because that way you can have all the access to whatever you're going to do in the future, to the amazing community, and have access to David and Katie. So awesome. Definitely. Well, thank you so much for being here, Katie. And thank you for being here. I hope you got a lot out of this. Please comment your biggest takeaway. Put that in the comments. Like this video and subscribe so that we can bring you more videos like this with amazing people like Katie Marie and David. And make sure not to miss out on David's interview, because we're also going to be interviewing him on what he went through, on his life experiences, and some other different things that you don't want to miss. So we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks again for being here. God bless.